During most of the time I spent lifting, I used to always focus on gaining weight, on the progressive on lifts, and whenever that wouldn't happen as I planned, I would just get frustrated and I would instantly react. If something wouldn't progress for a session or two, I would change my program. If it didn't gain as much weight as I wanted for a week, I would increase my calories. And after years of lifting and trying to always optimize everything instantly, I realized that this is the wrong path. Like in a relationship, if you snap every single time your partner does something that you don't like, it's going to be a complete disaster. And it's not going to function, and muscle building is the same. It will simply never work properly if you react every single time something doesn't happen as you planned. So be more patient. A big realization that I've had recently is, am I going to stop lifting? Of course not. So that means I'm going to be lifting for the rest of my life. And hopefully you're thinking the same. And since there is also no such thing as a natural limit, this means that I'm going to be making gains for the rest of my life. And with that in mind, it doesn't matter anymore how fast my gains are. Of course, that doesn't mean that you should be satisfied even if you're making shit progress, but you don't need to always try to optimize everything. If you're making gains, what you're doing is working, so there's absolutely no need to change it. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And the truth is, performance, body weight and measurements fluctuate greatly based on a variety of different factors. How much you slept, how much you ate, how much salt you ate, how much water you drank, stress, how much sunlight you're having. As you can see, I'm not having any. There's a bunch of different things that play a role in this, and you can fluctuate so much. Like I can literally be 2 kilograms, so like 4 or 5 pounds heavier tomorrow than I was today. I can measure my arms on 2 following days and have half a centimeter of difference. So be more patient. And how do I apply this mindset? If I haven't gained any body weight in a week, I don't give a shit. I know that that can still be just an error of all the measurements, so I'm going to go another week with the same amount of food, and then if I see that I still haven't gained anything, I'm going to look at my lifting progress. Am I progressing? If yes, there's absolutely no problem. If no, then I guess maybe I should eat a bit more. But if I'm progressing and for 1 week I didn't gain anything, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna go another week, and if on the other week I see that I gain twice as much now as I should have in 1 week, that means that, okay, the measurements weren't the best. Something happened for some reason, and after 1 week my results didn't show, but then suddenly all of them showed in the next week. So at the end of the day, it all happened. So don't be so emotional and don't react so quickly all of the time. This is when it comes to body weight gain. But how do you apply this to training? First of all, I would say hitting the same weight, same sets, same reps exactly for like 3 consecuting weeks, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. You know, that doesn't mean that you're not progressing. But yeah, I would say that if on the 4th week you still cannot add a single rep to like any set, there's probably a problem there. And if your performance drops, don't panic. It's not the end of the world. Maybe you haven't slept that well. Maybe it's something that you completely didn't even notice during the day, but your performance is simply not like this all the time, okay? It's like this, and it's constantly fluctuating. If for 1 session on 1 lift your performance drops, do everything as usual next week and see what happens. If it's getting even worse, chances are there's a problem, but if it got better or it maintained, I don't think there's a problem personally. And that's exactly what I did. Recently, with a weight on bench press, I was able to do 988 for 1 session, and then for the next session I also did 988. Then I was sick, then I came back, and on the first time I again did that movement, 988. But after that I got 775. This is a significant performance drop. And did I panic? I mean, at first a little bit, but then I decided, okay, I'm not going to change my training based on that. I was sick and I need to get used to the volume again. Maybe I'm just not recovered properly. So I decided to not change anything and go another week. And guess what I got? 998. Okay, so that's a PR. And when it comes to measurements, don't expect measurement increases every single month. You have to see the long-term trend. If your biceps on paper didn't grow anything during the last month, it's not a big deal, okay? Maybe it just doesn't show right now, but over the next 2 or 3 months, you should be able to see increases. This obviously also depends on how advanced you are, but again, don't expect monthly gains. If you see 1/5 of an inch of an increase every 3-4 months, that's perfect. That's totally fine. And then if it's constantly regressing, that's also again a problem. But if it is regressing like half a centimeter, so like 1/5 of an inch from one month to the other, probably nothing happened. You might have even grown, but you ate less salt or something, and you're not as blown up with water, and therefore your arm measurement is a bit smaller. But it doesn't actually mean that your arms have shrunken. It only means that on that day, at that specific moment, your arms were smaller than last month on a specific day at a specific time of the day. So personally, I wouldn't stress on it if it happens once or twice. Again, you have to see the long-term trends. You have to look at what is going on over several months.
Also, click here to watch my last video about how to not get fat during the holidays, which might be useful next December.